Everyone, welcome to a brand new episode 14 of the Stay Attached podcast. Today, we are joined by an 8-time champion, maybe a 9-time champion. Which is it, Austin?
I'm pretty sure it's 8.
8. Okay, I was accurate. 8-time champion, 1-time world champion, 2-time world champion or COD champs runner up, and one of the best main ARs in Call of Duty history, Austin Slasher Litico. Welcome to this. Wait, not welcome to the show, not the stream.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Glad to be
Okay.
here. Got to talk about things. Always love talking Call of Duty.
We know you love talking Call of Duty, and sometimes a little too much, because your tweets, what you're saying, it gets you in trouble a couple times, and you always wear your heart on your sleeve, win or lose. You're always mentioning something, and people in the community have grown to love that and love that about you.
That is facts. I'm very, very outspoken, especially in the heat of the moment. But what a lot of people don't understand is what we've talked about. We talked about a couple times in the community is like there's the player and there's the person. Like I feel like outside of competition, I'm a completely different person than I am like inside of it. I'm much more laid back uh and stuff like this. You can
Mhm.
kind of see it as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's what most people are, because when it comes to business, everyone's serious. They want to make sure it's going well, they're playing well, everything like that. So it's very serious. But outside of the game, it's just we're all just normal people. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're okay outside of the game. I wouldn't say you're anything too special, but no, I'm just playing.
I'll take it okay. I'll
I'll
take
take
it.
that's a good that's good enough gas right there. But enough of the small talk. It's time to get into your story, your origin story, how Slasher first came up. What was your first game as a toddler?
The first game I can remember playing is probably like 007 GoldenEye on like N64. I think I was like 4 years old or something, and my family used to play it at like some parties and stuff like that. Sometimes, like you'd play like Mario Party,
Yeah,
007, like all these games, split screen and stuff like that. Um, Donkey Kong Racing, like those are the games that I kind of came up on when I was really young, and I played it with my uncles, my dad, and stuff like that, and
yeah.
they'd never let me win. Like I was 4 years old, they'd always smoke me, and they'd talk some trash and stuff like that. And my family says that's part of why I am like who I am, because then
Yeah.
I took that seriously when my parents and stuff were talking trash. So then I got really good at the game and started beating them, and they never played me after that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's how it goes. I feel like that is a really important thing, especially when like you're young, because if people like give you the win or make you feel good all the time, like you need to get beaten down, beat
Yeah,
up. You got to lose to like really get that fire in you to want to win
100%.
and stuff. So I think that's a really important thing. And if all my young kids I have when I'm older, like I'm gonna be smoking them basketball, baseball, football, COD. StarCraft 2, like they're getting smoked. So they're and then when they're old enough, then they're gonna be beating my ass and all this stuff. So
Then you're gonna be done playing at
oh
that
yeah,
point.
then
Once
I'm
they beat
like,
you once, like nah, I'm cool now.
yeah, actually I'm getting old now. My back's messed up. Dad can't do that anymore. But did
Yeah.
you play any sports growing up?
Oh yeah, I was a big time baseball player. Um, I played like year round. Played out throughout high school. I kind of started falling off in high school because that's when I started kind of picking up with Call of Duty and stuff, and just kind of like lost my like love for the game in a
Yeah.
sense. But like my early teen years, I was on really good teams. I was on a team like when I was like 12 or something that was like pretty high ranked in Cali, like winning a bunch of tournaments and stuff like that around California. So I was a big time baseball player.
Did you have like a favorite player?
I always liked like the A's. I didn't really have like I liked a lot of like the earlier like 2000s A's players like
Yeah.
Eric Chavez, Miguel Tejada, like the infielders and stuff like that. I wasn't like too big on any one player, but like I
Yeah.
just always was an A's fan because that's like my dad and like used to go to all the games. He had tickets all the time, so I just came up in a family who really liked the Oakland A's.
Yeah, you're just pretty much molded and had to become an A's fan because that's just what you're surrounded by. So
Exactly,
that's I
yeah.
feel like that's usually how most people become like fans of certain sports teams. Like their whole family is just a fan and watching all the games. So
Yeah.
it kind of just happens. But then you mentioned that you kind of fell out of love with baseball and started playing more video games. Like at what point and what game was that really like made you want to keep competing in Call of Duty or play Call of Duty a lot?
Um So I don't know if there's a specific game, but it kind of was when I like started playing like some of the GB tournaments and stuff like that. MW3 I think is when I won my first like couple $100 or something, and then like Black Ops 2 was the really big one where like I started playing Respawn because I was only
Yeah.
always only S&D, and it started with hardcore S&D. So even like you completely different than what we
Yeah.
play now, way different game. But eventually Miyagi kind of got me to switch over to core because that's where all the tournaments were at, and then I kind of started liking that, and then he's going to locals and all this stuff, so I was like, you know what, this is kind of fun, like I've played against some of these guys, let me give it a chance.
Yeah. And then what was the like first major LAN event that you attended?
Black Ops 2 Anaheim, where Complexity won, and I
Complexity one.
remember I remember being there. We got 17th, which is not too bad considering like we didn't really have any respawn players on our team. We're kind of just, super new to the game, and we practiced a little bit, but not a ton. And I remember sitting in the crowd watching Complexity win, and I was like, "Yo, this shit's actually kind of lit." And that's when I was like, I really want to do this."
Yeah. Nah, I remember you guys beat my team that event. That was tough.
Wait, did we really?
Yeah, for the top 24.
Oh
Because we
shit.
placed 29th through 32nd. But my team was like a day pickup team with like Kalani, Nihil,
Oh,
and
okay,
Fnatic.
yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
And I remember we actually beat Pluto's team and like some other teams. And then we played you guys and we ended up losing. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
lost full. But yeah, who was your roster for that tournament?
It was. I'm pretty sure it was me, Miyagi, Callie, and Ethan. Pretty sure it was
Oh,
the
Ethan.
four.
What was his name? What was his gamer tag?
It was Ethan, I'm pretty sure.
Was it
Ethan,
Ethan?
Dr. Ethan or something like that.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I feel like I remember him a little bit. So would you say pretty much Miyagi is like kind of your godfather in a way?
I don't know if
Not
I'd
not
go
in
that far.
not in teaching you how to play, but like he's the one that got you into like competitive and stuff. And like
Yeah, he definitely got me into the beginning of competitive, I'd say, because like he was also a hardcore S&D GB kid like when I was in like Black Ops 1 and stuff, and I like knew of him, but he was like I feel like a lower tier at the time when I was like one of the better teams in
yeah,
hardcore, and then he eventually switched over and started playing these like tournaments, and he got me to play like an amateur tournament with him because
mm,
I wasn't like super big into like I didn't even know you could make much money, but he was like, dude, like you can make like $400 in these amateur tournaments, and like people
yeah,
who have won before can't play them again. So I'm like, oh, dude, that should be easy then. If like the best players can't even play, like
yeah,
we're gonna for sure win. And yeah, he just got me to switch over to core, and I had to completely switch my game because like I was on 8 cents for like nine
yeah,
nine or something core or in hardcore just whipping around and stuff, and I went down to like three, and that was the start of it.
yeah. So Black Ops 2, that's where you really got like your start as and your motivation to want to be like a pro player. And then going into Call of Duty Ghost, this is actually when you and I first started teaming on
Hmm.
Elevate. Elevate. That's pretty crazy that we were like the first team that Elevate ever had. I feel like most people don't even remember that unless they were there for that moment.
Yeah.
What do you remember from like those Elevate days?
Um, I mean, I remember just like we actually started kind of taking well, for me, I started taking the game more seriously and started like actually trying to like practice, you know what I mean? Like to
Yeah.
try to like win and like place pro. The first goal was to place pro. And that's what we were able to do at Philly, knocking down Optic,
Yeah.
which was crazy to think about. Like that was our path to placing pro, is beating Optic Gaming. And I remember being in that venue with like all the Optic people, like fans and stuff, huddled around us. Like they were
We were on a
legit like
side station.
clapping like in our face, like when their team was winning maps or rounds and stuff. And then
Yeah.
we're just like 16, 17-year-olds, like, you know what I mean, just going hard, and like I don't know, it was just such a fun time, and like also proved to me that like I could do this because
Yeah.
like I knew I could, but like that was like
The
the proving
validation.
moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Dude, that was a crazy weekend because I was actually on that Sunday was literally my birthday too, where I think I turned 17 then,
That's
and
probably about right. Yeah.
and then I remember we beat Optic. I think we went on Sovereign. I think Sovereign was like map 2, and then we won on Warhawk. Yeah, we won on
Warhawk. Yeah.
Warhawk.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Miyagi and I carried you. If you want to go watch the VODs back, I think we both had double digits. You were like 2 and something.
I'm
So
pretty sure I did not have a good game five, but I got
but
the
it's all
final
good.
kill. I
Yeah,
got
that's
the
what we
final
got.
kill.
That's why you got us, man. Me and Miyagi are we're your godfathers. So we're
Yeah,
always
for sure.
we're always taking care of you, looking out. But yeah, I mean, I think that was a huge moment for both of our careers because that's when like when you place pro and get that first top 8, you're like, holy shit, I could actually do this. I could be one of those pro players. And then
Yeah.
it's crazy to look back and see where we are now and how long we've been in the game since then.
The thing about
Uh,
it too that like it's so different back then because you didn't get chances on pro teams unless you
yeah,
placed pro.
yeah,
You
it
know what
was,
I mean? Like
yeah,
nowadays, like they'll see challengers players and be like, this guy has potential. Let's give him a shot.
yeah,
Back then, we had to place pro with nobody who's been pro before. Like we all had best placed like 17th. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it was a completely different thing. Like, and it was huge for all of us because then that was kind of getting our foot in the door
yeah.
of like, okay, these guys are actually good.
Yeah, I remember even how I was feeling back in those days. Like the pro community was so tight knit, like you couldn't really break into that pro circle unless you
Yeah.
started winning like actual events, like placing top four at events, because it was just way harder to go pro back then. It's so much easier now. If you just fry in challengers now or fry in a couple 2Ks, people are like, okay, we're picking that guy up. But
Exactly. Yeah.
back then it didn't matter if you won because our team, we were winning 2Ks. We won like a couple 2Ks just because we had the quad West Coast
Yeah.
host and no one could fuck with us because we were just pretty good. But yeah, it was so much harder to go pro
And
back
we were
then.
getting roasted too at that time. We were getting roasted, bro.
Yeah.
It's so much different now. It's actually funny to think back on that.
Yeah. Nowadays it's like what you see a challenger player do, you're like, wow, he might be really good. Back then it's like this team of AMs wins 2Ks in a row. These guys are fucking dog shit online
Yeah.
idiots. Do it on LAN. So it's kind of
Uh,
crazy how much everything's like developed to where it is now. But I gotta ask, at the end of Ghost, you were one of the best players in the game. I think you placed like second at Noble, and something changed. You actually started teaming with one of your favorite people, Martin Chino. What do you think he really taught you to help become, or to help you become the best player at the end of the game, or one of the best players at the end of the game?
I think I think just being on that team, like I think Sheen has a really good like competitive mindset. Like he's we align like when how we think about like practice and like how to play the game, and we also just were like all learning together like on that team like what it is to be a team, like how to play together. Because like
Yeah,
I kind of learned early on that Call of Duty teams like they didn't have the best like teamwork back then in my opinion. Like I felt like there was just four guys kind of going around and like they had certain ideas of how to play, but they never actually played that well together. And I always said like it doesn't matter for the most talented, like if we can just work together and off of each other, like we can make this work. And I feel like we learned how to like play the game together. And like it's
yeah,
certain things like I still use to this day. Like the way we played S&D back on that team, I still preach stuff that we were learning back then. Like it was just a big like learning experience for me when it came to playing the game and also like maturing as a pro player from just being like an average pro player who can place eighth into being like the guy who can go on to help his team win championships.
yeah. And shout out to Troy Center Michaels. He was on that team. And then was it who was their fourth?
Miyagi.
Miyagi.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, good old
We had
Miyagi.
a passionate team, bro. We had a passionate team.
Yeah, that's the team that. Yeah, I know your S&D was for sure good with that squad.
Oh yeah.
Danny
Yeah.
Miyagi was always really good, always playing super ratty, and then everyone else too. Like that was definitely a great
That's why we
S&D
were so
team.
good was because of Search.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure you placed second at the last event of the year in Call of Duty Ghosts,
Hmm.
and AW came out, and then you joined a complete new team of that phase roster. How did that like off season roster mania thing go for you?
Well, the off season actually didn't go well. I'm pretty sure like Noble dropped us for like Killa Miracles, like all them, because like we kind of put them on the map in a sense as an
Yeah,
organization, and then they ended up dropping us for some bigger names, even
damn.
though we were way better at the time. Um, and then I just was playing with like the outcasts in a sense, like in the 5Ks and 2Ks, it was like me, Sheen, Enable, and Moch, and that was our team. And we won like the first 5K or something, and I was frying. Like obviously, like after Ghost and then doing that, like I got my name out there, and then FaZe was kind of struggling at the time, and so it was like a month into the game, a little bit before the first event, they hit me up and asked if I want to join, and of course I had to say yes, right? Like that was the first like
Yeah.
pro team with pro players that I was gonna play with, so I took it right away.
And the first roster for that team was you, Apathy, Sensor, and Aches, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And first event of the year rolls around, AW Columbus. Give us a breakdown of what went down throughout that whole weekend.
And that was another crazy freaking event, man. Like we started off, we were pretty good, but I'd say more of like a sixth place team. And I think we lost. Were you on denial at the time?
Yes. Yeah.
I think we lost to you guys in
In
pools.
pools.
We
Yeah,
ended up second.
we 3-0'd you in pools.
Yeah, it kind of smoked us. And then we went on into the bracket, and we ended up losing in like winter semis or something. And we met up with you guys again on the Sunday morning or Saturday
Hmm.
night, I forget, in losers. We ended up beating you guys in like round 11.
Yep.
And then from then on, we kind of just rode that momentum throughout the losers bracket. And it was crazy because the night, Saturday night or Sunday morning, whatever, Pat somehow cut his hand, and so I thought we were chalked pretty much. And I honestly, like, in a sense, didn't lose hope, but like, bro, if you have a cut that big on your
Yeah.
hand, like once I saw it, I was like, dude, we're screwed. There's no chance. But I remember him dropping like 40 or something the first map of the day, and I was like, okay, maybe we still got a chance. Like
Yeah.
maybe we can make this work. And
Yeah.
we just went on a crazy losers run and beat Optic in two best of fives.
That finals was insane too. I feel like there was so much drama going on. Like, wasn't the event or like the streams or something messing up like the internet, like, or was getting hit offline or something?
I think there was, dude, it was like a crazy. There was so much stuff. It was like there was some problems with that. There was Pat versus Krim in them after they left him. Pat cut his hand. Obviously it was big for me. It was the first like pro team I was on. I'm playing against Optic in the finals. The crowd was also like split, half FaZe, half Optic. Like it was kind of nuts. And I think they had like the highest viewed event in COD history or something. It was like 250K at the time, or I
Damn.
forget what it was. It was something insane on Twitch. I remember being backstage after we won the first um I think the first series, and Adam Apicella was saying it backstage, and I was like, "Damn, that many people just saw me do that." I was like,
Yeah.
"I gotta go win this."
Nah, that's the extra motivation. But then you guys end up winning that event, first event of the year. So that was like all eyes were on you guys, like seen as the best team in the game now, because everyone was expecting the Optic team to just like run things, and
Yeah.
you guys just kind of came out there and clutched up and won. So that was just an insane moment. But then going to the next event, you guys started struggling a little bit. What happened from the first event to the next event?
Man, I still don't even know what went wrong. I think we won the first event, and our practice wasn't going as good. I think we obviously knew too, like champs was coming up, so I still kind of stand by that. Like people weren't taking it as seriously,
Yeah,
and we kind of didn't throw, but didn't like care about that event. We were
yeah,
like okay with losing, so we could change the team in a sense. I personally think that was stupid. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why you'd ever do that, but we kind of like just got bopped out right away in the tournament, 17th or whatever it was, and then immediately like at the event we're already talking about roster changes. Like it was like two different sides scheming on each other in a sense, and then
Yeah.
that's when we went on to pick up Parasite and Enable for champs.
That's an insane roster. Slasher, Aches, Parasite, and Enable. How was scrimming with that team? Like, did you guys agree a lot with each other's play styles, or was it like disagreements and arguments every day? Like, how was that? How was it a normal day of scrim with you guys?
It was probably disagreements and arguments every day. It was so long ago now. It's hard to remember. I mean, you just take like what people don't understand too is back then. So it was me, Aches, Parasite, like
Yeah,
all pretty opinionated people. Enable was like that too back then. Like in my opinion, like he
yeah,
was pretty opinionated and could get heated at times. I don't think we had a mediator at all. Like it was all four of us just going at each other. But like at the same time, we were all four going at each other. Like nobody ever took it personal. It never like was a problem, if that
yeah.
makes sense. Like
It was mostly
it
in
was just
game.
a yeah, it was just in
Okay.
game. Like it might have not been the best environment, but like we made it work, and I feel like we were getting better, and we
Yeah.
were one of the best teams at champs.
Yeah, no, you guys. I mean, you guys placed like third, I think, at the one event before champs, third at champs as well. So it's not like your team did bad by any means. That's a really like
Yeah,
solid placing. And at champs, when it was early in the year like that, everyone was going hard for that event, and everyone still does like turn up and try harder at champs,
yeah,
and they practice a little bit harder and they're disciplined. But it's just funny to like have champs at that point, and then after champs, it seems like some people just don't care after then.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of
Back then
weird.
was so weird.
It was just like, well, champs already happened. Now I'm just gonna show up to the events for free, and hopefully I do good. If I don't do good, fuck it, I don't really care.
I mean,
So
dude, but like if you got to think about it too, like back then, like we were playing like the event I won. So you won champs that year, right? You got
yeah,
100K per person. I
yeah,
won an event 2 months before that and got $2,500. Like champs was literally everything. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like if you didn't have a good champs, you didn't make good money that year. So
yeah,
like, and we weren't on salaries, so it was kind of everything. It was kind of you had so much pressure on you back then to place well at champs because if you
yeah,
didn't place well, you had to start thinking about, damn, do I need to get a job, or damn, you know what I mean? Do I need to go to school? Like, so
Nah, it was
it
crazy
was
back
crazy.
then. Cause like at the end of Ghost and like early AW, I think salaries started becoming a thing, but it was like $500 to like seven hundred fifty
Yeah.
dollars. Nothing obviously crazy. But yeah, if you weren't placing at least top three every event and winning champs or doing really well at champs, you weren't making money. It's not like
Yeah.
it is nowadays where players get salaries. They're like, okay, well, I got last or I placed bad this whole year, but I made fucking 250K in salary. So it's crazy. Back then, you literally had to win, or it was like you don't eat, and
Yep.
or you go get a
Exactly.
normal job or go to school. And that was one of the most impressive things with you because you were still in school this whole time while you were competing, correct?
Yep. Yep.
So what college or like classes were you taking? Like, was it like all the credits or was it just like a couple? Like how did you handle it?
So I went to UC Santa Cruz, was doing robotic engineering. I pretty much the whole time was on a full schedule. I think it was only at the end, um, that I like cut back on the classes a little bit, but it still wasn't much. Like I finished in 4.5 years,
Hmm.
so it was only a little bit longer than the normal 4 year span. Um, and yeah, I mean, dude, that was a crazy time period for me. Like it was insane, like how busy I was, but I somehow was able to make it work. Like I would just take time where, okay, school is ramping up. I need to stop practicing as much and get my grades in line. Like, and then, okay, midterms are over or finals. Let me play COD and skip class. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, it was a balancing act
Yeah.
that somehow I just was able to make work.
And what was like the coolest thing you did with robotics engineering? Because that sounds kind of crazy. Like, did you do anything, make any cool robots, or like, what's the one thing you remember from then?
Yeah, the craziest thing I remember is we took a mechatronics class, which is the hardest class I've ever taken. One of the hardest classes probably offered at the school.
Really? I feel
And
like that's usually one of like the easier classes, but go ahead.
yeah, yeah, for sure. The way it was taught at Santa Cruz is it was taught, it's like a Stanford course that's like 2 quarters long, but it was taught in Santa Cruz in like a quarter length or something like that. So it was like ramped up and sped up, and it was like the whole point of the class was to like you're in a team of like 3 people, and you built a robot basically from scratch. It wouldn't look like a cool robot at all. Like we had
Yeah.
$100 budget or $150 budget. That was part of the challenge.
Yeah.
So like and it was completely autonomous. So like as soon as you turned it on, you couldn't touch it or control it or anything. You had to let the code run through, and it had to complete a course. So like the course is like there's ping pong ball dispenser. It had to go
Mm,
get the ping pong balls, navigate the course, and shoot it at another robot and hit the other robot. And if you could do that and then get to the end zone, you pass the class. But
mm.
like, bro, like I'm making it sound way easier than it was
Then
because
yeah.
I was in the lab. We were legit sleeping in the lab. Like, bro,
Jeez.
like I became so close to some of the people in there because we were living together
Yeah.
in the lab space like for a month pretty much.
Did a lot of people pass that class, or was it like half the class didn't make it? Like, what was like the success rate of the actual robots and all the stuff being built?
I would say like probably 90%, maybe a
Okay.
little bit more past. Like, bro, these are like intelligent ass people. Like,
Yeah.
I was probably one of the dumber people in the class for sure. Like, these guys are smart, man. Like, I had a dude on my team who was a damn near genius. Like,
Mm.
they were so freaking smart. Like, being in a room of people like that makes you feel real dumb. Let me
Yeah.
tell you.
Nah, yeah, but they didn't beat Optic in the grand finals in two best of fives. So I mean,
That's facts.
who's the
I had
real
that
winner
on them.
here? Who's the real winner here?
I had that
Um,
on them.
and then it was in the Black Ops 3 year. That's like when you're taking all the college classes and about to finish college, right?
Yeah, Black Ops 0 was on the end, but I actually finished halfway through IW, I want to say.
Okay, halfway through it. Okay, and then Black
Yeah.
Ops 3, that was like your real big year because you ended up winning champs in Black Ops 3. You obviously got out like a tough start. I know there's like a famous clip of you and Aches going at it for a couple days, just like every single scrim. It seemed like you guys were going at it. He was saying you got to listen to him because you haven't won that much before. You only won with him, and then you're obviously talking trash back and saying all this stuff. And the end of the year comes around, champs comes around, you guys win it. Like what? That had to have been such like a feel good moment for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, like before that, like I had made decent money for a COD player, but like I was still in debt for student loans and all that, and like still like not making that much money. Like we started getting salary, but like it wasn't nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So winning that like was the biggest chance at the time too.
Yeah.
200K, it still might be one of the
I think
bigger
it
ones.
still is.
Yeah. So like that was nuts, and I instantly was able to pay off all my student loans,
Oof.
and have extra money. So it was just a crazy thing, and like also like I already kind of solidified myself as a really good player, but that like for sure solidified
Yeah.
myself as like, all right, this guy's good. He's here to stay for a while, and he's someone who's gonna, be a threat at events in the future.
Yeah, even
So
nowadays, like people talk about like rings and stuff. Like, yeah, you're a top player, but if you don't have like a one ring at least or two rings, like there's levels to it. Like people will just say like, oh, this is the best player to never win a ring. So
yeah,
even to this day, it like runs true that you kind of have to be have a ring to have a lasting legacy as one of the top pro players in Call of Duty, which is kind of crazy to
100%.
think about because it's just one tournament of the year. You get one shot, and I mean, hopefully your team's on point. But you guys won champs, and then going into Infinite Warfare, you kept the same roster. I know your Infinite Warfare year was not too good the first like 75%. And then at the end, you guys got second at playoffs and champs. How the heck did you guys turn it around so quickly for the biggest events of the year? Because you guys were getting like
uh,
24th or something.
we did get 24th at Anaheim, like my worst placing. Um, Shoot, I don't even know. I think the beginning stages of that game like was kind of rough because, like I said, I was finishing out school, so I
Hmm.
was still in school. Apathy was getting married. So we had a lot of things going on, and then I also think winning champs like plays a part in it too. Like, kind of any team that wins champs, like you're still going hard, but like it's hard to go like and be as focused as you
Hmm.
were before you won that event, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
you really have to like snap out of it and act like you didn't win to
Yeah.
get back on track quick. So I think it was just a perfect storm for us to do bad in a sense with how much stuff we had going on, winning champs and all that. And we got top 24, and I remember we were all scheming, trying to make changes because we're like, okay, this team is done for. We're not going to do anything now. We have to figure something out, and we weren't able to make a change at all. So like, it just came down to it, like, all right, well, champs is coming up, we got to put our differences aside and make this work. Like it
Yeah.
is what it is. Like we don't want to play together. Like we don't want to be a team, but too bad. We got to make it happen. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we just got back on our bullshit, I guess you could say, and like we got really good and should have probably won champs realistically, or at least stage two. Like we're in a prime position to win both of those events, and
Yeah.
we kind of let it slip.
Yeah, no, those were definitely two tough losses, but at least you ended the year on a much higher note than you started. So like getting second at champs, it sucks, but at least you at the time like made a lot of money, and still you were like one of the best players in the game at the end of
Yeah,
the IW season. But that was a crazy event. I remember you guys beating Optic in the winners finals to get to grand finals. I was like, yo, no fucking way.
yeah,
JCap is about to go back to back to back in all
yeah.
three jetpack champs. You don't think of JCap as being the GOAT jetpack player, but AW ring, BO3 ring, and then he's in the grand final. I was like, this guy's really about to win three rings 3 years in a row. Like
That'd have been nuts, dude.
that'd have been
Absolutely
crazy.
crazy.
That would have been crazy. But the year ends, World War II comes out, and then you go rogue with the new MV roster. What was happening? Give us a breakdown of everything that went down.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like I said, like we didn't want a team together anymore. Like, yeah, we got second. But before we got second, we already knew it was pretty much chalk. Like, if we would have won, we probably would have stuck. But anything besides winning,
Yeah,
we were done for. And then the way we lost too was like, damn. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that was just
yeah,
so heartbreaking the way we lost that event. Um, and so I kind of knew like, Huke, Temp, were turning 18 again. I knew what they were capable of back in AW when they were 15 playing and they were coming back. So I was like, these guys are gonna be hungry. I was like, our team's kind of already done for anyways. Like, let me pick these guys up, get that team back together. Now that I could actually play the game because I'm out of school, I was like,
yeah,
we could probably win. And
yeah.
yeah, it didn't turn out so good, but that was my thought process.
Yeah, I remember playing you guys at legit. I think we played you guys like 6 or 7 times throughout like the first event of that year, something insane. And
Yeah,
I think everyone kind of expected greatness with that roster, like the community, you guys as well. And even in the off season, I remember Donnie and your team like making the GB squads for the old like MW2, MW3 events that
yeah.
Hitch ran. Shout out to Hitch, he's the goat for that. And what was like the name of the team? It was like future world champion, World War II
It's
world
like
champions.
2018 world champs or something.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We were way too cocky for our own good. Mainly Donnie. I mean, but I was still cocky too. But
yeah. But
we
was it just like,
definitely.
what do you think didn't work about the team? Was it like the actual team itself, the game? Like, what was kind of going wrong?
I think it was a just combination of a lot of things. I think the game wasn't playing to our strengths. Like we were really good at Advanced Warfare together when I wasn't able to practice the game because of school pretty much.
Yeah.
And then World War II is like a completely 180. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah.
completely different game. And then I also think we got in our own heads to an extent. Like we thought, like I said, we were too cocky. We thought we were just gonna come back and just win, like
Yeah.
in a sense. And it's good to be confident, but you can't be cocky. And I
Yeah.
think we went too far with it. And yeah,
Yeah, and then like you guys are kind of having an off year, rough year, and then you got an opportunity to join Rise in the middle of World War II. After I'm pretty sure they already won an event with Zinni
yeah.
before that. When you got that offer, was it kind of just like no question? You're like, yeah, I'm out. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean, we kind of knew like a month before I even got that offer. Like we kind of knew like if our team didn't work out at that event, like we're chalked in a sense. And then Rise, hit me up like when they won an event and then got eighth, and then
yeah,
they hit me up and I was like, this is a no-brainer. Like
yeah,
I'm
of
out.
course.
Like I gotta take this opportunity, and if I do what I like, I thought I was like one of the best players at the game, um, on my previous team when we weren't even placing well. So I was like, if I go play with these guys, I'm gonna be able to win right away.
Yeah, and weren't you like not under contract anymore or something, and you were able to just walk for free without having to like negotiate or
Yeah,
figure stuff out?
I kept postponing re-signing because like I had an idea that like I said we knew a month before that like our team was like
Yeah,
in a really bad spot and it wasn't probably gonna work. So like I just didn't re-sign my contract and I took like a hit on a couple months' salary and just kind of bet on myself.
yeah.
And yeah, ended up working out.
Nah, it definitely worked out. I'm pretty sure you guys. What event was the first one you won?
Seattle,
The first one was
the
Seattle.
losers.
So you guys made
Yeah.
that crazy losers run as your first event.
Yep.
That was crazy. I still talk to Dan about that one because obviously for the stream, Looney, he was teaming with Austin and he's my coach now, so we always talk about that one. But yeah, you guys were in like losers round one, so like top 24, like something
Mhm.
insane. What happened? How did you guys go from starting in losers to winning the whole event and like winning like 7, 8 rounds of matches?
I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea why. Dude, I remember we went into pools and we went like 1-3 or something. I remember I was so down bad because, like I said, I was like so confident that I was like
Yeah,
the best player in that game, on my old team, and then now I'm on a team who just won an event like a month ago, and we're in losers round one. I was like, dude, like maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Like
yeah,
I don't know. I just was like I was like starting to question myself at that point. I was like, damn. I was like, okay, I'm just not that guy. Like, I need to get back on track and like figure myself out.
yeah,
But then like we just showed up the next 2 days. We ended up also like them figuring out the new meta for the game pretty much. Like we got smoked by I think Lightning Pandas or something. They had a double bar setup, absolutely world starring us, and me and Pierce took that and was like, okay, maybe this is like what we're supposed to be doing now, and we ran with it and just had a couple of good days and smoked everyone.
yeah. And then you guys went on to a run and win Seattle. You guys won, I believe, Anaheim. Was it Anaheim after that as well?
Yep, yep.
Or was that Atlanta? No, you guys won Atlanta, right?
No, no, no. They won Atlanta with Zinni, and
Oh, they
then
won Atlanta with Zinni. Oh
yeah,
shit. Okay.
yeah, win Seattle and Anaheim.
Yeah. So you guys were like the best team in the game at that moment. You had a couple more battles with like TK because they were like the other best team on
Yeah,
that. Do you think who you think was better? You or Lamar at the main AR that year?
I'm gonna say me, of course, but I will say that their team was better than our team in the
Mm.
head-to-head matchup.
Yeah.
I think that game was very. I don't know if you would agree, but I think that game was very matchup heavy. Like when
Yeah.
it came down to vetoes and stuff like that. Like I feel like we could beat anybody in the game besides TK, and
Mm.
then TK could beat like anyone, but they would lose to like EG or something like that.
Yeah.
But like if I played EG, like I mean, we saw what I did to Pat in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm smoking that fool. So, but but like it was
Yeah.
so matchup heavy, and like the way the vetoes went down, they just always got Forest or Gibraltar versus us, and we couldn't beat them on those maps for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Damn.
So I don't know.
Force and Gibraltar, those two pretty heavy AR maps where Lamar was on the cabin, Lamar was somewhere posted up behind a
Yeah,
rock. Like, you think he was just your boogeyman or something?
maybe I don't know, but hey, I
Uh,
will tell you this: Lamar's never ninja diffusing versus me. I'll
oh,
never
yeah.
let that happen.
Every time they let this fool get away with it, I'm just like, bro, just check the bomb. That's his only play.
Right?
He crouch walks to the bomb like a little old man, just crouch walks to the bomb and then defuses, and it works. I'm just like, they gotta check it, right? They gotta check it. Another ninja defuse. Then you see
Yeah.
the colleague Twitter tweet, ice, ice. It's like, no, just check the damn bomb. Okay,
Right?
back on track. But yeah, no, that was definitely a crazy year. You and Lamar were like regarded as like two of the best ARs in the game because you guys, it was either your two teams winning that
Yeah.
year. So, what happened going from that Rise team in World War II to BO4? Because I know 5v5 was coming into play, so it was kind of like made everything a little mixy. But what was that offseason like for you?
The off season was sketch, bro. I remember I was on a cruise with my family when like the heat of it was going down. So I was like in and out of service.
Oh, damn.
And I obviously kind of knew that we weren't gonna stick, but like I thought maybe me, Dan, and Tej were gonna be a team of three. But then Tej got dealt to Optic like right away, and like I just kind of got caught off guard. Like I remember just getting a text from him randomly like, "Hey, yo, bro, like it was good teaming with you, like." But I got the Optic offer, like I'm
Yeah.
out, and I was like, "Damn, like we ain't even gonna talk about this a little bit." I was like, I kind of understand. Obviously, if you
Yeah.
get the Optic offer, you're gonna go for it, but um, and I was like, okay, damn, I don't know what I'm gonna do now, so I'm trying to figure out like what my options are. I remember 100T like hitting up Nate like early, and I was like, yo, like let me come build a team here. Um, and I thought that was gonna be the thing that I was gonna do, but then they ended up picking up Ken and Pharaoh early, which I was down to play with Ken. F3 I was also kind of down to play with because he was really good at World War II. But then they picked up, I remember they picked up Octane, and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's chalk then.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not. What am I gonna do? Run a sub for Octane? I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And then they kept saying like, no, like trust me, we want you still on the team. We want you to be like the captain of the team, blah blah all this. And I was like, okay, like maybe I don't know. And then they're like, Sam will run a flex for you. Like you're fine. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And eventually joined their team. And they also picked up Enable. So that's how it worked out.
Yeah, I know. I remember. I always remember the story because Lamar always like tells it about how he had dinner with Nate. He was like locked in to join 100T, and then next morning he wakes up and you're on the roster now because
Yeah,
you got bought out from Rise by them, and then
tough situation
that
for my
was
boy right
that was
there.
a tough thing. He wants to sleep, think he's on 100T, and then it was gone, and you
Yeah.
took his spot. But you guys had a little rough start to the year, but then I mean, you guys turned it up. You won what, two events that year?
Two events, yeah,
Two
and got
events at
second
second at
champs.
champs. So
Hmm.
I mean, still a really successful year. I'm sure you guys obviously want to get first, but it was still a really good year for you guys, and everyone still saw you as like one of the best teams in the game. But then the CDL got introduced. So there's so many changes happening. 5v5 happens, then the CDL happens the next off season. How many teams are you like in talks with during the CDL?
A lot to be honest. Like at BO4, like I remember there was like a list that came out or something of like the most like important players to pick up, and a lot of people had me like one, two, or three or something like
Yeah,
that. So I was in talks with like pretty much everyone. Um, Obviously the people I wanted to play with at the time were like big name players like Simpa BZ, obviously people on my team still from like 100T. I liked playing with Tej a lot. So Tej, and then he wanted to play with Dashy, so those two were an option. There's a lot of different things, a lot of different teams, and different options that were out there. Even like the Kyler and Empire situation. So it was kind of just everywhere. Like
yeah,
I feel like everyone was talking to everyone at the
yeah,
beginning of CBO. It was pandemonium. Like you just didn't know what was going on because it was so new.
yeah.
Um, so yeah,
You would literally be talking to someone and be like, "Yo, I'm down to a team. Let's work something out. Let's talk to this org." And then the next day they just joined another team, and you're like, "Oh shit."
yeah.
Well, like I guess that he was already with them or something. So yeah,
That's what
that
kind of happened. Like I was talking about going to New York originally with Simp and Abizi, and
yeah,
then they ended up on Phase like a day or two later, and it just happened so quick. And I was like, damn, it's kind of a missed opportunity, but I still have really good, options here
yeah.
and there. So yeah,
And then eventually you end up joining OGLA, the whole like optic getting sold merger thing. I don't really know how it went. I'm sure like you guys really didn't have much like you could say or do about it. You kind of just played for the team.
yeah,
Um, and I think that team gets a lot of hate, obviously, because at the time they were the fake optic and all this stuff. You guys actually had a couple decent placings. I know you got like second in one home series, I believe.
yeah.
Were you top four or top two on LAN at I think the
Got
LA?
we lost to Dallas
Oh,
and
okay, so
won the event, so
you
we
were
got
top
top
four.
four, top three, yeah, whatever you're gonna say. But
Yeah.
we had a close series with Dallas when they won the event. We got a second place. We subbed in Sheen. We should have been up two overs phase. We got 1v2 round 11 or something.
Oof.
So like we were not that bad
Yeah.
realistically.
No, I think like you guys got a lot of flack for being terrible. And I think when it went online, you guys got a little bit worse and then some
Yeah.
changes started happening. But people act like you guys were just not winning at all. But in reality, you guys were still winning, still like competitive and had a couple of like top placings, which is respectable. But do you think like being the fake optic and like how all this, do you feel like it was just like a not perfect storm of everything going on?
I think it definitely probably think him on like on it back like it might have affected us negatively, to be honest. I don't think it personally mattered to me much because I was used to being like, I guess on 100T we were one of the fan favorites, but
Yeah.
outside of that, like I was one of the more hated, I guess you could say,
The
players or like,
villains. Yeah.
yeah, I was one of the villains of the scene. Like I was the person like one of the people like rivaling against the Optic teams a lot, like
Yeah.
BO3, IW. I was giving them problems, so a lot of the Optic fans, the Green Wall, didn't like me. So I was kind of used to it. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
nothing new to me, but it probably was new to like TJ and uh Brandon were just on Optic, and you know what I mean, to go to the fake Optic where they're hated now. It's
Yeah.
like it's such a big jump. So maybe it was a problem. You really don't know. It's all speculation, but I think it probably hurt us a
Yeah.
little bit.
No, that must have been a crazy just period of time. And getting away from like Call of Duty and stuff, you actually roommates with Lamar. Accuracy on the Seattle Surge. What has been like the best and worst thing about rooming with Lamar?
The worst thing. I think the best thing, I mean, I just Lamar's my guy, bro. One of my best friends in the scene. I've known him for so long, and it's funny because we actually started off as not friends. We hated each other in the very beginning, like a long time ago. We used to talk trash on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just one of my best friends in the scene. He's a real guy, real loyal and stuff like that. He's got good like morals and stuff. So and yeah, he just loves Call of Duty like I do.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Enough
you know
about
what
the
I'm
good
saying?
things. Give us a list of the bad. We want to hear the bad.
The worst thing I
Expose
can
it.
say,
Expose this man.
I don't really have any negatives besides that we be getting way too lazy sometimes. We'll be on the couch watching a show, binging it for 6 hours or something. Because when we get hooked on a show, it's chalk. Like we'll just be sitting there watching too much. So I will say we're a little too lazy, and that's probably the biggest negative. Like even lately, we haven't been going to the gym, but I mean,
Mm,
I guess it worked out for me because I ended up
yeah.
going on to win the event. So screw it. But yeah, I don't really have too many bad things to say, to
Okay.
be
Okay.
honest.
But he's like pretty clean, like pretty sanitary. Keeps the apartment nice.
Yeah, I feel like Lamar is way more clean than I am.
Oh,
He'd be
okay.
freaking out if like if like a little I mean you know how he is, bro. If a fly could fly into the room and he'll start freaking out, like bro, open close all the doors, open up the outside door, like let it get it out, get it out. Like
I see
he'll
that
be tripping.
I see how I taught him a little bit because he used to just have a filth, just trash circling him, and I'm glad he picked up a couple of things about how to stay clean and
We
sanitary.
definitely aren't the cleanest individuals, but we aren't like
Super, yeah.
disgusting.
You're
You know
not
what I'm saying? Like
hoarders,
yeah, no, no, not by
yeah.
any means.
And then where were we at? MW. What game came out after MW? Vanguard
No, Cold War.
or Cold War? Oh shit, I'm
Yeah,
faded. Cold War dropped, and it went back to 4v4. You ended up being on LAT, a new org again, or kind of the same org as you
yeah.
were 2 years ago. So how the heck did that offseason and roster mania go down and the org situation go down from your perspective?
To be honest, it didn't really have much of an off season. Like we were just kind of in limbo most of the time, like just sitting there like not knowing what was gonna go on. Like we knew the OGLA people, was it Immortals, pretty sure the team they were selling the spot, but like we didn't know who was getting it. We didn't know what was happening, the roster or anything until like last minute.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much of an off season at all. It was just kind of like waiting around and like kind of freaking out to an extent because like damn we're like bro all these good players were free agents or like gonna be sold by their teams and they're just kind of going and we're just sitting here doing nothing. So
Yeah.
like what is going on?
No, yeah, it's definitely a weird feeling. I think pretty much everyone knows the whole drama and stuff that went on with that season. You guys really weren't really placing too good. You had your moments where you would win and stuff, but then you had like 8 or 9 roster changes throughout the year. So I just want
Yeah.
to ask you, like individually, because you got benched. At what point of the season did you get benched?
Before the stage 2 major.
Stage two major, and then how
Yeah.
did you like keep on fighting and going through it? Because like usually when a lot of people get benched, it could be like their demise, like they're done playing. And
Yeah.
you are an older pro on the scene. Of course, you had a lot of success, and everyone knows as a player you're really good. But like, what did you do to just keep that fire and like discipline to want to play and compete to where you are now?
Well, I mean, I knew like when I got benched, like I knew it was like, I mean, obviously it was tough to deal with, but like I just knew they weren't gonna like put anything together. Like I would like people would say like, oh, he wasn't playing well, which I don't claim to be playing really good at the beginning of the year, but like I was not bad by any means. I was like
Yeah,
decent. I could be way better. Like I have way higher standards for myself. And but like just the roster changes they were making, the problems that they thought we have were just all wrong in my opinion. Like so I just knew they weren't gonna put it together and I knew eventually like I was probably gonna get called back in.
yeah,
And I kept playing for a while. I was going hard in the gym, like I was playing eights every night. I was started frying in eights. Um and I was just waiting and then eventually like one major went by, the next major went by, and then I was kind of like, all right, maybe I'm wrong. Like they think they're better, even though they're not placing any better.
yeah,
Like I'm just chalked, and I couldn't get a trade. Like I was trying to get traded to so many teams, like, but that's just impossible in the CDL
yeah,
landscape, pretty much. And yeah, so then eventually I just kind of stopped playing. Like I was like, okay, I'll wait till next year. It is what it is. And then they hit me up like stage 4 or stage 5, I forget, like not too long till champs, like a month or two, and we're like, "Yo, you want to come back?" And I was like, at this point, I was like, "Damn, I haven't been playing in 2 weeks." I was like, "Fuck," I was like, "But I gotta take the opportunity,
yeah.
right?
Of
Like I'm
course.
gonna I'm gonna come back and play. Like I want to play." So
Yeah,
I came back, and then I felt like I personally was frying. I feel like,
yeah,
especially on land, like I had like a 1.3s at the events. Like I was playing really well. We just couldn't put together a series as a team. We'd lose a lot of game fives. So
yeah. And that was just like kind of a tough year. You guys didn't really get the placings you wanted, even like the last two events when you did come back. You did perform well individually. Season ends. You I think just like can't really find a good home at the moment for like where you're gonna be playing for the next season. What happened to get that LAG roster to form? Because I actually just read somewhere recently that every single player that is on LAG was dropped during the offseason. So
yeah.
how did the LAG roster come together? Did the org go to you? Did you guys go to the org? Like, what went into that?
Um, So the big thing is I was obviously trying to figure out somewhere to go, because I knew the LAT thing was chalked, even though it didn't make it apparent right away. I just know how these things go. Like
Yeah,
I knew it was chalked. I was trying to figure out what I could do. Um, and like there was a couple different opportunities I was trying to get on. Everything was kind of falling through. LAG approached me. They wanted me to like come there and kind of like build a team. They got Kyler really early, so it was gonna be me and Kyler, and then kind of help build the team. But Kyler, Pierce, and Asim were like a team of three, like from the very get go. So it was like they wanted to play together on LAG, and the org really wanted me. And so I reached out to them. We started talking, and then obviously like we felt like it just kind of fit together. We all, like you said, were kind of like dropped by our teams, um, in a sense. So
yeah,
we just came together and we're like, we all have a chip on our shoulder, something to prove. Like we all gonna work super hard. Like the roles kind of make sense. Like let's do this.
yeah. And it was just kind of crazy, like when that team formed and the first couple like stages and majors, because you guys weren't really doing fantastic. Even at stage one, I think you guys got like eighth or 12th at the
Yeah,
first land.
we got 12th. We lost to you guys.
Yeah, super last.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, don't worry.
super last.
We got super last this time, but unfortunately, we're not. You and I, you, me, Lamar, and Ace aren't going to a Nusret dinner,
Yeah, no,
for the
not this time.
regain, for the regain. But and then everything happens. I know you put a tweet out saying like, I can't believe this is all happening. I feel like everything that's happened over the past 2 3 years is just unlucky, and you're never in a good situation because now you have to play with Spart, who was a weak fill-in for your team. You guys got smoked by Optic in that one match. What the hell happened the week after you got smoked by Optic, leading up into the major too?
I don't even know, man. Uh, we just put it together somehow. It's a miracle run, realistically. Like considering all the circumstances. Like even at the event, like we lost our first series to Boston 3-0. Like
Damn.
it's so hard like playing with a fill-in, like to go into matches against these polished teams, and like also we have to do veto process. Like we don't know what we're good at, what we're
Yeah.
bad at, you know what I mean? So like we're kind of just winging it. And like as the matches went on, I just felt like we got better and got better. We were practicing backstage, warming up, like doing all this and talking through some situations, so we at least had something to go off of.
Yeah.
And I also just feel like stage one, like we, we didn't do well, but like we recognized that we're just bad at search, like really, really bad at search. And so like I started playing like the Tupac Money Eights every night for like
Hmm.
a week and a half, 2 weeks. I was putting in like extra 4 or 5 hours in those and learned a lot in S&D. And then also Huke and Spart have been in those a lot. We just been putting in a real amount of time into that mode. And like that's what I ultimately feel like helped carry us through the tournament because we
Yeah.
went on a 10 S&D win streak. Like our
Crazy.
respawn was decent, like good enough to get by, but like the ultimate winning factor was the S&D, and
Yeah.
I feel like the extra time that we put into that just helped us so much.
Whew, that was crazy. But obviously you guys won Major 2. But before that, I just wanted you to like tell us about Spark because I don't think the community, even me personally, I really don't know much about him. I don't think I've ever talked to him before. I've seen him play, of course, and he is talented. But like being there and teaming with him and talking to him and working with him for that week, like just tell us like how he is as a person, as a player, and why he was able to just come in so quickly and then kind of just dominate, help you guys dominate.
Yeah, so I mean, I've known about him for a little bit now. He got his chance back in MW on the team. I actually reverse swept him in like his first match or something like that.
Yeah,
I remember back then he came in and he didn't play that well, but like he was also on a pretty bad team, not in
yeah,
a good situation, so it was kind of hard to like put it together. And then I've been, obviously like I keep up with the challenger scene enough to know that he's been one of the better players in challengers for a minute now. And people have been saying deserves a chance for a long time. And we played with him in the optic match and he didn't play well. But I knew like he's like that's not him. You know what I mean? Like he's
yeah,
capable of way more. And like I said, like he's been in those S&D Money Eights. I've played with him. Like I know he's a good search player. Like he has good search instincts and stuff like that. And he's got the talent. And then yeah, he's just like I don't know, he's a hard worker. He's super like passionate about the game. He's willing to learn and stuff like that, and he's just a good teammate. Like he was, getting hyped in matches and stuff like that, gassing people up. Um, anytime like we were talking about things, like he wanted to really understand and learn like how we'd play situations and stuff
yeah.
like that. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about him. He's just a great player.
And then at what point did he like bring up the Volk to you guys? And when you guys were like, "Is this guy serious talking about this Volk using the Volk?" Like, what did you do when you first saw him using it? Did you think it was like trolling, or were you like, "Yo, this guy might be nasty with this gun"?
I at first I was like not like he's trolling, but I was like, "Are you sure?" Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if that's that good, but all right. And then he brought it up like maybe the day before the tournament, like when we are all there but practicing backstage. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So he was like, I got this gun, like I've been using it in challengers, like I think it's really good on these maps, like let me use it. And I was like, hey man, like at this point I was like, whatever makes you comfortable, like let's do. Like,
yeah,
because realistically going into the event, like with a fill-in, I'm just trying to get some CDL points. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I'm just trying to stay in the race for champs. Like, I'm like bro, we need to win some matches because we're like in eighth, but like damn, it's way too close.
yeah,
And then we started scrimming with it, and he was kind of frying on some of the like Okage or like Tuscan
yeah,
and stuff like that. So I even pulled it on myself. I was like, what's the class? And then I tried it, and I was like, this is pretty good, but like we definitely can't run two of them. I feel like I need to go to the God tank, or I need to do this to rip this guy off his
yeah.
heady. I was like, you know what? Go ahead, do your thing. Like, we'll just play around you, type thing.
And then you guys complete the Cinderella story run. You guys go from losers round one to winning Major 2, not just as a team, but with a fill-in, a week fill-in. So you guys put everything get together so quickly. You won Major 2. Where would you say this ranks as like your tournament wins out of your favorites?
Yeah, this is tough.
Like a top three. Give me like your top three tourney wins.
I'd probably say top three tourney wins. Champs is probably number one.
Yeah.
I feel like that one's tough to beat. Like it's just
And you
champs.
made
You know what I mean?
200K. So like, first
Yeah, like
ring,
like that's just tough to beat. I'd probably say this is maybe my number two now because this is just nuts, like unreal. I don't think anything like this will ever happen again in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
A team winning with a sub, a team breaking the S&D record like that on a tournament against the type of competition we played too. Like
Hmm.
we had a hard run. Like realistically, if you look back at it, like we played the only top like 5 team we didn't play was like Optic.
Mm.
You know, we played FaZe, London, Boston, like all these teams that were looking really good and high up in the standings. And even like the the worst team we played was like a Toronto team, which is like they still could be really good.
Oh
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
of
this is
course.
like the runner up from last year. Like they're a good team. Like
Yeah,
everyone's kind of a good team nowadays.
yeah,
Um, so I just don't think this will be top. So this one's probably my number two, and then maybe number three is probably like my first event win because that one's just like a special um one with FaZe,
yeah.
my first pro team. Kind of solidified myself, and that was just a really special event win for me too.
And then I got one last question from me. Well, it was actually from someone else. And then we're gonna do some chat questions if you're cool with that.
Yeah, of course.
Um, this one's from Samuel Octane. Will you roast Octane when he shoots your body in scrims now that you're a Vanguard champion?
Listen, before I was even a Vanguard champion, I'm roasting every single player on that team in scrims when I play against them. Anybody, like it's just anybody who's on that team when I'm playing against you in scrims, I'm roasting you.
You get shot in the back,
Just
bro. You wouldn't have won that on land. Like
100%. Like I'd be letting those fools have it in scrims because I mean, there, like I said, there's some a little bit of a rivalry
bad
going
blood.
on
You
there.
know, there's
So
bad blood
yeah,
there. You got history, and
so I gotta let them
obviously,
know. Like
yeah,
you even see with some of my tweets, like I'm not as wild as I used to be.
yeah,
Like we definitely toned down a little bit as the time went on, but I make sure to throw some extra stuff in there. Like I'm the king of LA. Like I gotta
yeah.
let these fools know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
hey,
respect that. Like gaming wise, you're definitely the king of LA. Of course, I'm in Minnesota, but when I'm back, you're just keeping my throne warm. So I do
okay,
appreciate you
for
for
sure.
that. But that's gonna be it for me. Austin, I appreciate you answering all my questions I had for you. And
Of
now,
course.
chat, is your guys' time to shine. You can open up my stream and read the chat off if you want, or I can read you the questions. Whichever one you feel more comfortable doing.
You can just go ahead and pick some out. So,
Pick some. This is a
yeah,
good
yeah.
one. Did Capsule shooting his body in losers finals change anything for you?
I mean, I did start frying after it happened, but I didn't like. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't like ever like. I don't really notice things like that too much. Like I was already talking about what we're gonna do next round. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I did see it happen, but it's not to the extent of like, damn, this motherfucker just shot my body. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was funny though, cause I didn't realize it, but Kyler talked about it afterwards, cause I was like I said, so focused on what we're gonna do the next round. Kyler was like, he was like, "Ooh, I love that." Like after he saw it or something like that. And yeah, I mean, I did turn up and start frying afterwards. Like
Yeah.
I fried them and then also played really well in the finals. So
Yeah.
maybe it did get some extra fuel to the fire, but I don't feel like personally I noticed it too much.
Yeah. Ooh, this is an interesting one from Oshine. He said, "Was there ever a point in time that you thought you would never win again?"
Hmm. I mean, like I said, like probably when I maybe got benched. Not just when I got benched, but like I said, when I kind of realized like maybe I wasn't coming back in that season. Because like, bro, when you get benched and you're kind of out, it's so hard to get
Yeah.
back in. Like people were talking about me as like I should just retire and hang it up, and I feel like when I came back, those events that I played where I fried was so important for me because it kind
Mm,
of like helped show people that I still have like some fuel in the tank. So I, during that time period though, I was definitely thinking I might never win again. I was thinking I might never play again
yeah.
too. So
No, I mean, that was crazy to bounce back from that because, like you said, once you get out of like that pro circle, it's hard to get your opportunity again, especially an opportunity with a good team to actually have a chance to win. So
exactly, yeah.
to see all your teammates get dropped and then come back and win, that's like inspirational, honestly. Hailstorm wants me to ask, can you ask Slasher how Mama Litico is doing and what was her reaction to your win?
She's doing really good. She was obviously very excited.
Yeah,
She loves watching all the games and stuff like that. But yeah, she FaceTimed me and was ecstatic. The whole
yeah,
family was. My grandma, both my grandparents were watching. My dad, my brother, everyone back home was was supporting, so they're all really happy for me.
Yeah.
And now the funny thing though, I gotta give Mama Lydica a little bit of flack. All of a sudden I win again, and now she wants to go to events. Where were you at when I was, down talking about where's champs at? Well, I might go to that this year. I was like, oh, so now that I win again, you want to go,
Yeah.
huh? No.
Before she's like, I don't know if I'm paying for that hotel and flight. Well, I mean, you want enough cash. You want 50K this weekend, so I think you could just pay for her stuff. I think that'll be fine.
Right.
A good question from Baby Dave on a more serious note. How does mental health play a role in not only being a pro esports athlete, but also in essence a celebrity with all eyes on you?
Ooh, I think mental health is very important. I think your mental strength and everything like that is one of the most important things when it comes to competition, because I feel like half the battle is always being confident in yourself
Yeah.
and confident in your team, and like not letting like any outside factors or anything like that get to you. Like I've always prided myself in being very strong mentally. Like I said, I've been one of the villains of the scene. People want to see me lose, like the crowd's against me. Even recently, like bro, people were throwing me in F tier. People were saying like I should retire. They
Yeah.
were saying all this crap about me. But like at the end of the day, I always believe in myself. I always bet on myself, and I always make sure that I don't let anyone mess with my mental. So
Yeah.
I feel like having a strong mental game and good mental health is very important in anything you're doing in life, to be honest.
Yeah, especially now with like social media too, and you can see so many different opinions. It feels like the whole world is talking about you. You do
Yeah.
bad in a match, you see a Reddit post with 300 comments, asking you to get dropped or saying stuff, a roster change needs to happen, whatever it may be. So it's kind of crazy just how things go nowadays, and
Mhm.
especially when you're like your team isn't doing too well, like it can get weird because everyone on the team knows like, yo, we're not doing too well. Like I
Mhm.
didn't play good that match. Shit, it might be my time. Like I might get dropped after this.
It
So
just gets very stressful, bro. And the
yeah,
thing with our like job is like we live on social medias, right?
yeah,
Like
you
Twitch,
have to. You literally
YouTube,
have to.
like everything. Like you're just always on there. So you can't like not see the comments. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you always see the negativity. You see the positivity too when it's there, but
yeah,
us as humans, like the negativity just like stands out so
yeah.
much more, I feel like.
Well, this is another really good one. What is the decision to not wear a hat on stage now? Why did the A's hat slasher retire?
I'm not allowed to wear the ace hat anymore, man.
Really?
I wish I could, yeah. Something with like brands or some
Hmm.
legal stuff. I don't know exactly what it is. And then I was wearing the plain black one, but I didn't really like it, man. So
Yeah.
I kind of just said screw it. Like I'm just gonna throw the hat away, and if I ever let me wear my ace hat again, I'll do that. But for now, it's no hat.
No hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a good cut, so I mean, it looks good. You don't gotta hide it with the hat or anything like that. But if you do want another hat, a statement of is dropping some dad hats. I think you'd actually look amazing in. So
Oh
maybe in
shoot,
two,
might
three
have to
weeks.
get one.
Yeah, you have to check it out. But I think. Oh wait, one more last question. Last question from the chat.
Okay.
What is Austin's reaction to everyone blaming him and Lamar for the GAs?
Dude, that stuff is so funny at first, but now it just gets a little annoying because like, bro, I guess I'll take it as a compliment though. Do they actually believe that me and Lamar are finessing the entire COD League into playing the way we want to play? Like, damn, we must be next level
Nah,
manipulators
that's
if that's the case. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It started off as a joke. It was funny, but then it just got played
But
out,
it's
and
like
now it's
serious
like,
now. Like people say it
yeah,
seriously.
yeah. Like we joke with it. Like I mean, we posted the enforcers video where we're sitting there like this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like we have some funny things with it, but seeing that stuff every day and like the Volk now, I get tweets randomly all the time. Yo, is this G8 in ranked play? And I'm like, bro, what like, what are you saying? Like, dude, come on, man.
That is a good
But
question. Are you banning the Volk?
I'm not in the chat, bro.
Oh, okay, okay,
I'm not in the
okay.
chat.
But if you
I
had a
left
choice
that.
though, would you ban it or you want to keep it in?
I don't. I'd probably wait to see. I mean, we only saw it at the event in the weekend, so it's really
Yeah.
hard to
So
say.
it's
I
a
don't know.
small sample
But I
size
will
right
say
now.
too, yo, people said I couldn't win without making the rule set. I left the chat. I won.
No.
I also like. I'm a man of my word, bro.
All right, let it out,
People don't
man.
realize
Let it out.
too.
Let it out. Puff
People
your
don't
chest
realize
out.
too. I told people when Land comes back, I will win again.
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
3 events. Was it 3 land events? What was it? Four.
Major 4, major 5 champs,
So
major
four
1, so
events,
4.
and then I won. That's
Yeah.
not too long.
That isn't too
Hey, I
long.
try to tell the people I'm a man of my word.
Yeah, okay, talk your shit, Austin. Talk your shit. Let them know. Did you have any luck at the casino? Because I know we stay at Mystic Lakes Casino here in Minnesota. How was it? Because I know you won hella cash. So did you go rogue?
Yeah, so I didn't actually get too much time to gamble. I did the first couple days I was there. I was down like $800,
Yeah.
and then the last night, finally after, because we were playing late at night, like most matches, and stuff like that. So the last night I finally went, like 4 or 5 a.m. before my flight, and I was down 800, and then I somehow swung it back in like the last 10 minutes before I had to go up and pack, and now I was up like 400, 500 and left. So I was like, I don't know how I just did that, but I'm out. I'm taking my profits and dipping.
Yeah. Now you've been making crazy comebacks all weekend and crazy runs. So I mean, you got to respect that. Everything was just going
Yeah.
right. After you lost that first match, everything just started going right.
Yeah, 100%. Wild run. Wild.
Yeah. Austin, I appreciate you coming on the show. Hope you had a great time.
Yeah, of
And yeah,
course.
that's gonna be it for me. Shout out to everyone that watched, listened, or is on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it may be. Appreciate all the support you guys show to the show, and we're gonna hopefully keep on doing this. But thank you guys.